Welcome back, boys and girls. It's your boys Raj and Rambo, and it's another tactical analysis. And today is a very exciting one. It's an ongoing transfer saga for the last 18 years or so. Bruno Fernandes to Manchester United. Everybody's talking about it, and we're going to dissect what he's like as a player and how he could benefit Manchester United. And I know, Raj, you are very excited about this one.
Yeah, very excited.
Before we get into that, let's have a quick look at the comments from last week. There's a few very decent ones. Mohammed said, 2 Asian lads doing their football analytics. Love it. My guy, you love to see it. And James Deacon said, the Magnets have changed the game. Come on, lads. And the Magnets have changed the game. I'm a big fan of them. I hope you guys are. And if you're a fan of this and you're a fan of Raj and Rambo, that's myself, make sure you subscribe if you're new and drop a like on this video if you enjoy it. Raj, you have a little surprise for us, so go ahead. You're smirking away.
Right, so I think obviously Bruno Fernandes, most people know he's an attacking midfielder. He likes to get forward in the box, but I think he's really part of a new breed of attacking midfielders that are developed in modern football. I think we normally think of attacking midfielders as playmakers, or always on the ball, looking to create, dropping in between the lines and turning, and then making a delicate pass in between opposition defenders. But I think there's a new type. I think Bruno's part of it. I think Dele Alli's part of it. I think Donny van der Beek's part of it. You wouldn't necessarily describe them as pure creators and playmakers, but what they do is they interpret space very well. These guys know how to time runs into the box. These guys know how to improvise in the box as well. Their one-touch passing is phenomenal. Their one-touch finishing is phenomenal. It's very instinctive how they play. And as I said, they're very good at finding space and off the ball, rather than just primarily being focused on the ball, as many traditional playmakers like Ozil and Eriksen and the likes of them are like that.
Just a quick question then. Would you say Frank Lampard is one of those sort of creative midfielders or not really?
Yeah, I would have put him in that bracket actually, especially when he started playing a bit more attacking. I think for Ancelotti he played at the tip of a diamond, and he definitely was like that.
Alright, so a new cult has been announced. We'll find a name for it before the end of the video. Let's get to the board. The Magnets are there, and I don't know why, we're always excited about the board, so let's get to it. Raj, you're at the board, so I'll let you kick us off, because I obviously do not have a board anywhere near me.
Yeah, so I think obviously Bruno Fernandes, I've got him here labelled in the number 10 position. I think that is, especially this season where he's primarily played for Sporting, who've changed from more of a 4-3-3 to a 4-2-3-1. Last season he did play in a 4-3-3 and he played as a right-sided 8 as well, but obviously Manchester United are currently setting up in a 4-2-3-1 with two sitters, and then the three mainly of Rashford on the left, one of Mata, Lingard or Pereira in the middle, and then on the right either Dan James or Mata sometimes plays there, and then Martial up front. So I think Bruno can definitely fill this slot in the middle for them, and I think it's a very much a position of need as well. I think purely and simply just firstly because of the attacking output of the players playing at the moment. So Mata, Lingard and Pereira, those are the three guys, and their combined goals, minutes per goal or assist is at the moment 328 minutes in the league since the start of last season. And I think that's pretty poor really when you look at most playmakers around the league. And then when you look at Bruno Fernandes in particular, his, since the start of last season, is 89 minutes per goal or assist. So that's, I know it's a weaker league in Portugal, but that is a massive difference. And even if you want to mitigate the factor of the weaker league, let's look at his Europa League record. There, he's got 113 minutes per goal or assist. So that kind of shows he's still performing even at a better level of competition. So I think he can definitely fill that role purely and simply because of his better attacking output.
It's quite similar to what I've gone for. I think basically the area we're looking at is the number 10 role, because Manchester United are desperate for a creative midfielder. Am I right?
Yeah, definitely.
I think the problem for United is the ball doesn't get into the number 10 area, or when it does, there's no quality in that area. And as you mentioned, big part of the problem is they haven't got options in there. Mata, Lingard, Pereira, as you said, playing that role at the moment. One of the features I picked up on, which is, we could put this in a general free, but I'm not going to. He's very two-footed. Mata's left-footed, doesn't really have a right foot. Lingard the same, and Pereira the same. And I think these days, if you look at De Bruyne, two-footed, Maddison, two-footed. If you look at Liverpool's front three, bar probably Salah, the other two are two-footed. I think, as basic as it sounds, it's a general that's a pretty high requirement for most clubs. And also, United as a team have scored 36 goals in the Premier League this season. Bruno alone in the league has 15 goals or assists. That's nearly half of what United have done as a team.
Yeah, that's staggering really, isn't it? And I think the other thing is, it also provides a bit of balance to the team. Because as I mentioned earlier, Bruno's played a lot as a right-sided 8 in a deeper position as a 4-3-3. And I think as a result, become at home in this kind of right-hand side channel. And I think that right-hand side has been a big problem for United. Dan James, after a bright start, he's gone off the boil a bit, and it's been Mata otherwise playing on that side. But I think most of Man U's attacks are coming down the left with Martial and Rashford. And I think they need a bit of balance on that right-hand side. And as I said, Bruno, he loves playing down this channel. So I think that's the other thing that will help bring balance to the Man U attack.
Well, I think also when you mention the four players, Martial, Rashford, James and Bruno, if you take out Martial and Rashford and you just talk about James, Lingard, Pereira, Mata, and anyone else you want to throw in there, the problem United have, no one shoots. And whenever I watch United, I just think no one fancies having a shot. And Bruno averages 3.7 shots per game. Rashford averages 3.1, so pretty close, but he's essentially a wide forward. Martial, who is the forward, averages 2.4, so Bruno's still more. But it's direct competition, and I've thrown Pogba in here just because I feel like, just to make you realise how much of a difference it is, Pogba averages 1.9 shots per game, Lingard 1.1, and Mata 0.5. Bruno averages 3.7.
That's mad. Yeah. Interesting you mentioned Pogba. I think I want to bring him up later on. I think there's a way they could coexist as well.
Yeah, I actually remember you mentioning this to me aside from things. But the reason I mentioned shooting is because the biggest problem for Manchester United isn't the big games. It's breaking down low blocks. And I know you love going into a low block discussion. So hit us with the wisdom.
So I think, as you said, Man U, they've looked very good against the top 7 if we could include Leicester this season. I think their record is second behind Liverpool in that top 7 mini table. So I think there's no problem against them. It's because they're such a good counter-attacking side with that pace of Martial, Rashford and James. But I think Bruno against the low blocks, Man U have really struggled. 16 games against other teams outside the top 7 and just 20 points from them. So you can see the big problem there. And I think there's probably 3 or 4 different ways why you could help them in that low block.
Yeah, so I guess one of those ways would be the long shots. He is, I think, a long shot merchant sounds negative. I don't think it is too negative, but there is a balance and a bit of a debate with that. His typical trait is long range shots. He's had scored 9 goals from outside the box since the start of 2017 and 18.
So the other thing is, I mentioned at the start of the video that these guys, Bruno's one of them, their movement in the box is fantastic. Their timing of runs is spot on normally. I think when he gets into so many good positions, Bruno, and then his finishing on top of that is very clinical. 28 goals since the start of last season in the league, and he's only missed 8 big chances. So his ratio of scoring to missing chances is brilliant. Just for comparison, as I said, Van der Beek, I think of him as in the same mould as Bruno. He's had 15 goals and he's missed 13 big chances. So there's a big difference there in how clinical their finishing is. Obviously, Donny van der Beek 22, Bruno 25, but still that's a significant difference. Shows how clinical Bruno is. Secondly, I think even though I do describe him as a different sort of attacking midfielder, not necessarily a creator, he does have some aspects of his playmaking which are excellent. In fact, I think he thrives on combination play and 1-2s to people in the box. And I think Anthony Martial recently has actually been in the striker role. He has been dropping a lot deeper. And I think he might be able to combine with Martial. And then Rashford obviously coming inside off the left quite well inside the box. So I think that's another aspect what may help United against the low blocks.
Well, we've actually seen when Pogba comes in, and I know you're going to mention them together, but when Pogba comes in, what you often see is he looks up and the first pass is into the feet of Martial, because Martial is incredibly good at holding the ball up, or it's 1-2s off Rashford, or even Lingard seems to play better when Pogba's in the side. And I think that Pogba-Bruno combination has a serious amount of potential. He's often found playing off the right, and I think the other key side of it is Manchester United are not just buying a midfielder to get them crosses in or whatever. He's a goal scoring midfielder. He's had 17 touches in the opposition box in the Europa League this season, which is only 5 or 6 games in, and he's had 24 shots in 5 Europa League games this season as well. So what you're buying is essentially, as you mentioned, is almost like a second striker, which really reflects his average positioning.
So yeah, the other thing with Bruno using that right hand channel, he's an excellent crosser of the ball. I think very similar in the style to Kevin De Bruyne. He can whip those crosses into the box, and I think he's got 7 assists since the start of 2017-18 from crosses. So he's not just a simple guy who can just play 1-2s, as I mentioned. He's also got that to his game.
It really does sound like, and I don't want to put tons of pressure on him if by some freak chance he happens to watch this video. It sounds like we're talking about the a potential Kevin De Bruyne for Manchester United. That sort of mould of player.
Yeah, and I think there's a few more aspects as well which do lend to that comparison quite nicely. I think this season we've seen a new element to his game. He started to play a lot more through balls in behind the defence, which weren't possible previously because he had the big lump Bas Dost up front. And obviously Bas Dost is not going to be running onto any balls anytime soon. But this time he's got a lot quicker striker, Luis Felipe, who makes these runs in behind. And that's going to be very similar to what Martial and Rashford both do. So those through balls in behind defences, they're going to be very useful for Manchester United.
I really didn't think you... I think when you said big lump up front, I expected you to say something else.
I'm glad you said Bas Dost. I think you can take a seat and we'll take a look at some general themes.
Time for Raj's favourite part of the show, which is general themes. I will let you kick us off.
Right, so I know we've stated several positives about Bruno. I think there are a few things that Manchester United should be wary of in terms of negatives. I think one factor is, as you mentioned earlier, his shot volume is massive. As you said, there's 3.65 shots per 90 since the start of last season, and out of those, 2.27 of them have been outside the box. So he really does love a pop from long range. And I think what it's going to be, this is where the coaching comes into play. Can Solskjaer modify that aspect of his game to make sure he takes them at more opportunistic times rather than just constantly?
Smacking
exactly. So I think that's when we're going to see what Solskjaer's made of.
It does actually remind me a little bit of Coutinho when he first came to Liverpool, the shimmy inside and shooting from range. Kevin De Bruyne when he first came to Chelsea, also similar. So depending on the coaching, it could mould him into a certain type of player. Is that the only weakness you've got on him? That he shoots a lot?
The second thing is I think he's not really one of these players who gets involved in the build-up much. So if Man U are looking for someone to really do that, he's not the man. He stays in quite a high position, as we said, towards that right-hand channel. And I think the problem is with Man U, their double pivot at the moment is Fred, McTominay or Matic. None of them are really brilliant build-up play midfielders. I've got some stats here. XG build-up per 90 for Fred is 0.27, McTominay 0.25. Then you compare that to someone like Paul Pogba, he's at 0.47. So there's a big class difference in build-up there. So that's why I think if there's some way that Man U can get Pogba to stay and be happy at the club, I think he could still fit well with Bruno. He can be the man pulling the strings from deeper, and Bruno can be the man staying in higher positions and affecting play around the box, if Pogba's happy, of course.
Well, it's often said as well that Pogba's work rate is questionable. By the way, great valid point. That Pogba's work rate is questionable. Bruno's definitely isn't. It's one of his best traits. He's great at pressing. That's probably why he's often linked to Liverpool. Averages 4.81 ball recoveries per game and 2.3 tackles per game. McTominay, who is a holding midfielder, averages 2.2. Fred, who's also a holding midfielder, averages 1.9, and Pereira averages 1. So his ball recoveries are very, very good for a player who plays higher up the pitch.
Yeah, and I think that work rate in pressing, I think that's originated from his time at Udinese, where he actually was playing as the deepest midfielder, as a holding midfielder. And that really turned a lot of people off him because he didn't perform well in that role. But I do think he's gained something from that. That defensive side of the game, he's always hunting players down. And I think Man U definitely need that. That press, for example, in the Arsenal game, their press was so easy to play through for Arsenal.
Yeah.
So I think Bruno could help sort that kind of thing out. And hopefully maybe cajole the others around him to do the same.
Well, it is required. United do need to learn to press better. I wouldn't say they don't need to learn to press. They need to learn to press better. Finally, the last general theme is his value. Now, there's a lot of rumours about... In fact, there's no rumours about how much it's going to cost. Everyone seems to be rumouring about whether he's going to go to United or not. I'd assume it'll be 50 plus million, considering the offers going for Maddison are 35 plus Lingard. So I imagine it's going to be a hefty price, which does make me think and feel as though that means Pogba's going somewhere. But if United can keep hold of Pogba and Bruno, so sign Bruno in January and keep hold of Pogba, they could be onto something. But as always, we finish on predictions. Raj, any predictions from you this week?
Predictions...
Shall I take the mantle on this week?
Go on.
Seeing as you took the last one?
You can have it.
I think I think Manchester United will sign Bruno Fernandes, but I don't think they're going to sign him now. I think they'll sign him in the summer for 80 plus million, and I think they'll wait till Pogba goes and bring in Bruno and be left with the Fred and McTominay double pivot, which I know you're not going to enjoy. That is all for this week. We'll see you for sure on the weekend for Liverpool against Manchester United. If there's anything else you want us to tactically analyse, drop it in the comments below. Drop a like on this video, subscribe if you're new, and we'll see you guys next time.